Hi there, and welcome to another Sunday. Welcome to Real Talk with Marsha-Ann. And I'm telling you, man, this Sunday really had me under a schedule concern. But here we are by God's grace. I'm so happy that you have made it. And yes, you've made it live. For those of you who might catch the replay, I am so glad that you are here. Today's topic is not necessarily an easy topic, but it is a necessary topic. Hello, welcome. So happy that you're able to join. You have to understand that I consider it such a blessing every time we have an episode of Real Talk with Marsha-Ann that my front row seat persons show up and come with all the love in your heart for the episode and to participate. And why are we going to keep going on in life if we don't engage, encourage, and support one another? So, what is Real Talk? Real Talk is a space to engage, encourage, empower, educate, and equip one another to ensure that we transform our lives to one of purpose, passion, and prosperity. And so, if this is what you're looking for, you are in the right space. Can you believe it's October the 31st already? Do you remember what this season's episode started with? Everybody had an assignment to just start, right? And so it's really time for us to embrace that we're closing the chapter on October. God has been good to us. We're alive to be here. And I believe that that's the most important thing. And once we have life, what do we have? We have hope. And so for those of you who are joining, whether now or on the replay, I have such an important exercise for you to do. And that exercise is in relation to this topic, that we need to be better, not bitter. When you think of this topic, automatically, what comes to your mind? So the exercise I want you to do for me, regardless of where you are, as long as you're not driving and listening in, the exercise that I want you to do for me is with the greatest amount of tension that you can possibly put into this. I want you to do it. And that is, I want you to take your fist, as long as you're not driving, squeeze it so tight, like tight to the point of cutting off your circulation. Tight. I want you to also have that tension in your shoulders. And I want you to make the face of someone that is angry or upset. So all of that should be happening at one time. Tight fist to the point that you feel like you're cutting off your own circulation, tense shoulders, and a face that is extremely made up, either because you're angry, you're upset, or you're hurt. Now, exhale and release that. 1, 2, 3, release that. When you're releasing that, you should have been releasing everything that you would have been putting into doing this exercise of tensing yourself up. Why is this so important? I'd ask you to share with me, where do you wear your tension? I wear my tension a lot in my shoulders. Like if I'm very tense, I'll wear it in my shoulders. Where do you wear your tension? Some people will have butterflies all over their stomach if they're feeling anxious. Folks will have this in different spaces. Your body will respond to so many emotions in a different, right? So you wear yours in your head. Some people will have an intense headache or a heaviness that you are carrying. And the truth is, we must face all of our emotions. No need to deny it. No need to downplay it. We've got to face them. I chose the topic, be better, not bitter, because at some point in our life, if all of us would agree, we may have had hurt, we may have had offense, we may have had rejection, we may have faced abuse, we may have gone through betrayal, we may have been exposed to negative words spoken over us, which falls under the category of hurt. You may have been exposed to exploitation, abandonment, trauma. Like, as long as you have lived long enough, even if it is only one of these, it could be hurt, it could be offense. But no matter what, anything that is as extreme as that, our natural response, typically as human beings, is to feel the hurt, to feel the offense, to feel the rejection, to feel the betrayal. And out of all of those emotions, we will typically, sometimes, some of us, will feel bitter about it. Bitter because you're thinking, why me? How is it that that could possibly happen to me? Sometimes you actually feel fear, shame, and control. Sometimes you will have unforgiveness towards yourself. I am not a counselor. I am not an expert. I'm only sharing my journey. And I'm doing that in an effort to also hope that others would feel comfortable in knowing that when we face the things that have caused us hurt, disappointment, offense, rejection, when we face those things, that we in turn take the time out to say, how can I confront it to improve and release the bitterness that comes along with it? There's some, you have to get help. Embrace and normalize that counseling becomes so very important, because no one can tell you that that was small trauma or big trauma. Trauma for you is trauma. Hurt for you is hurt. Offense is offense. Betrayal is betrayal. It's on your measure and on your scale. So the exercise that I would want to do, as I have done for myself, is I chose to. Everything is about a decision. We remember that, right? Everything that we do is based on a decision. So I made a decision to dig deeper on my quest to evolving in my life, on my quest to really want to have that fulfilled life, and understand that for one to be fulfilled, baggages of hurt, bitterness, shame, control, lack, all of those things can't come along if you're going to live a fulfilled life. A fulfilled life has to really be, for me, emptying out to see where we currently are and doing that inventory check to determine how we need to improve. And so if you take it from as far back as your childhood into your adulthood, in that very childhood, innocent, footloose, fancy-free stage of life, even as a toddler, and you can think back how you had absolutely no fear or inhibitions in the world, and then you are where you are today, knowing that you've had bruises, you have had hurts. How are you going to overcome some of those? Some of your hurts could be from parents or a parent. Some could be from family. Some could be from the community or the environment that you're in. Some folks have had to contend with from childhood days, body shaming. Somebody is too fat, too slim, too dark, too light, comparisons of siblings. Some folks have had to go through institutionalized hurt, whether it's in school, with a staff member, with a fellow student, being ostracized. Like, can we just face the fact that all of us at some point or another in life have had to face some deep hurt, and maybe We have buried it. And as a result, we're not even thriving as much as we ought to. And if you can relate to that, just drop that in your comment so that I know this is something that you're feeling. So drop that in the comment, like, I can relate, or drop a one. Yes, you get this. So if we go along life's journey, then we think of hurts or offense or rejection or abuse or betrayal that you could have also had in friendships that you've had over the years. And those friendships meant a lot to you, but there was a fracture that really you have not necessarily healed from that, or it has caused such trauma for you that it has put you in a guarded state. So if these are things that you can relate to, I know we're going somewhere, because these little wedges of life's journey, they will put wedges in us that do not allow us to flourish and to be as fulfilled as we ought to. And today's mission is to be better, not bitter, right? So then the other aspect that we need, yes, 110%, thank you. What else do we need to consider? We need to talk about occupational hurts. Occupational hurts will be things like disparity in your compensation, knowing what you're worth, but others are paid more than you are. That's a hurt that you carry. Or promotions come and go over you, around you, although you know you have worked for it, but you've been overlooked. Or even if you have applied yourself fully, but for one reason or another, it wasn't afforded to you, that can cause some form of hurt as well. What about where you feel like there's inequality? It could be based on gender, it could be based on race. Those are things that will cause hurt under your skin. What about church hurt? That's something that some folks actually go through as well, where the church hurt is so deep that it even means restoring your relationship with God, because you've had to have a walk on hot coals because of things that you have faced with having church hurt. And as we go along life's journey and we're dotting it further, you think of hurts that you have experienced in different relationships, whether it's an intimate relationship where you have been exposed to offense, betrayal, rejection. Those are hurts that you will carry along. What about that void of not knowing a particular parent, having no connection, not knowing a mom or a dad, or not having that kind of emotional connection that nourishes your soul? And so, if we're not careful, some of the hurts can be so bitter that you will literally taste it. Hurt from a divorce, hurt from a separation, hurt that has been caused because of a wedge in family. Sometimes there are deaths within family that causes such a rift within a family, because there's the discovery of who didn't get what, or there's a sense of unfairness that has come around and has come to the surface. And the truth is, a lot of what I have listed, to include hurt from any relationship, one way or another, personal or professional, with a narcissist, that kind of hurt is a different level of hurt that, unless confronted, you'll begin to taste the bitterness that's associated with being hurt or damaged along the way. But here is what is very important. The moment we stop brushing it under the carpet, the moment that we stop hiding from the hurt, hurt includes from abuse in any way, shape, or form: physical abuse, emotional abuse, financial abuse, sexual abuse. I mean, we could go psychological, we could go the gamut. Abuse in any form is abuse. And so getting the help to overcome these hurts are so important. Poor relationships, yes, that will cause major hurt and offense. But the truth is, unless we come face to face with where the damage lies, where the hurt is for us, where we feel that there is fear, where there is shame, where there is control, unless we come face to face with these conversations, you understand that we are carrying a sack that is so heavy. And so I would ask you to tell me what some of the impact that you have had when you know you have faced some of this, and because of the bitterness you can't thrive. So for some, it could be an issue with self-esteem, lack of confidence, lack of trust, bringing hurt from old relationship into new one. Absolutely. Some have anxiety. Some need validation. So you will constantly be seeking approval from other people because at some point in life's journey, you have had to face something that has caused you to have this fracture that you don't feel like you are worth it. You don't feel worthy. And so you're on a quest for validation because you don't have enough confidence in self. Or you had the environment where, in an effort for love to have been demonstrated, you felt like you had to prove yourself. So those are some real, talk about real talk. If you are getting this, type it in, real talk. And so there's self-sabotage that comes along with having some of these rough experiences. What about imposter syndrome? Poor relationships? All of these things really will harness in our minds and in our bodies and in our souls when we actually avoid confronting the things that have caused us such hurt. Yes, this is real talk. And so if we begin to dissect, for those of you who just joined, we did an exercise in the beginning, and that exercise was for us to identify for ourselves. If we make a fist that is so tight that we constrict the flow of blood, where we feel like we're going to strangle whatever is in our hands with our fist, that is the impact of negative energy, of toxicity, of things that have made us bitter. We wear it in our shoulders. We will sometimes have illness that will manifest because the illnesses will get worse because of some of these things that we have had to go through. And all of us at some point or another, if we are honest with ourselves, we would say we have had hurt, offense, rejection, abuse, betrayal, exploitation, abandonment, trauma, something, one or another, has impacted on you. And today we're going to identify some of the skills, but go professionally and get help if you know it's actually holding you back. Bitterness affects our health is something that I don't think many of us, you're right, think about, but it's true. And sometimes it's so bad that you will taste it. What do I mean? If it is that you have something that's under your skin like a tick, let us say that you have had occupational hurt, meaning you've been overlooked for, and I have a leadership coach that's on here, so she'll be able to relate to this. You've done all the work. You have put in every single effort. You are highly qualified. You know the job and then some. You are the consummate professional, but yet still you are overlooked for the promotion. Or yet still others will come in over you and get compensated higher than you. After a while, the human that's in you begin to feel the angst in relation to that. And it has the ability to erode you to think, well, do I need to work harder? What do I need another degree? What is it that I need to do? And that's where some of the imposter syndrome comes in. You have fear of failure. You have fear of being judged. A lot of this is because of those life experiences that, in fact, will eat at you. And instead of being better, you are going to become bitter. But what is important today is to face those things. Face the things that you know have been under your skin. So I use the institutional example. And so if you are working now and those things keep happening and you find that you're getting triggered, you have not dealt with the issue. And dealing with it is a personal choice. How you deal with it. Is it that you're going to have a meeting with whomever is senior in your capacity? Do you need to have a meeting with HR that says, tell me where I am missing the mark because I know I'm highly qualified? Whatever you do, don't erode at your confidence. Easier said than done, but we're going to talk about how you're going to build that up today. What about relationship hurt? If you have been faced with betrayal and trust becomes an issue to the point of someone who shared it earlier, it means that you're bringing old hurts along with you in this little basket. You're carrying it along. And truth be told, that wound, if not healed down to the root, you're going to be triggered in one way or another. You could be triggered by a song. You could be triggered by a statement. You could be triggered by someone saying something to you that just immediately takes you back to that place. Have you really dealt with your healing journey? And so what is extremely important is to look at these particular triggers that's impacting on your mind, your body, and your soul. Do you have a wedge in your spiritual growth and development because you are carrying unforgiveness? Could that unforgiveness be unforgiving, not forgiving yourself because of decisions that you made, or you feel like you are a part of what caused your hurt? I want you to release yourself today from the notion that revenge is the only way to get back at someone who has caused you great hurt. You will continue to go in a slippery slope and a vortex. When somebody hurts us, we naturally want them to feel pain. Trust me, I've been there. And a big part of my journey, I have to remind myself daily, sometimes hourly, God's got to deal with that battle for me, because if I try and deal with it myself, the outcome will not be favorable. But I also know that there are things that I have done wrong along life's journey, and I need to seek forgiveness for it. And so I have to forgive myself. I have to release others. And I really have to ask God to help me too and forgive me for things that I have done wrong. So it could be that you're carrying a burden because you have caused hurt, you have caused offense, you have caused rejection, you have extended abuse, you have caused betrayal, and you have not yet learned to release yourself from that. Ask for forgiveness and then move on. So, because we've identified a lot of these things, this is your Sunday therapy. Good. I'm happy to hear that. But because you have identified a lot of these things, what then becomes very important? What are some of the action steps that you know you want to take in an effort to improve? I'm only sharing some of the ones that I have done and that I am doing. So we cannot fix what we do not confront. If you believe that, drop in the chat, true. We cannot fix what we don't confront. The other thing that we must admit, when we brush things under the carpet, believe me, it remains under the carpet, and one day it's gonna all come out. Next, face it head on. Absolutely, we have to. Easier said than done. Because let us talk about, this is a difficult conversation, but let's talk about this. There are some who have been hurt in one way or another: abuse, hurt, offense, rejection, betrayal. And the individual that has caused that hurt, they have passed on, and you never got a chance to deal with that head on. This is so much easier said than done. And that's why it's so important to identify where you are and when you need help. But I believe what's important, there was a service that I heard once that said unforgiveness is the equivalent, and harboring bitterness is the equivalent of drinking slow poison. Because whomever has caused the hurt, they are going on with their life. And we are busy sometimes having conversations in our head about what we have gone through, the hurt it has caused, and why we are where we are and not moving. So a big part of bitterness and hurt tends to put us in a place where we feel stuck. We are not moving on or flourishing or in any particular area of life because we are cemented in pain. We are cemented in the hurt. We are cemented in not moving forward because we have not confronted what we need to face. And so getting that realization is so key for us, and also not blaming yourself. So for example, if because by your nature you are loving and you're loyal and you are so open, you may in fact be a magnet for folks who see that beauty in you, and they, on the other hand, don't have your best intentions at heart. And because you are loving and loyal and you see the best in everyone, those who are the opposite of you are drawn to you, and you could be an empath like I am. And so you automatically feel, oh, but this person, you're seeing things through rose-tinted glasses, and really this person could never have an ill intention because you are not wired to have ill thoughts because of the purity of your mind and soul. But what we must ask for, we must pray and ask God to give us discernment so that we're able to detect dark from light. But if you have had those encounters and those individuals have betrayed you and caused you deep hurt, know that you can in fact take that walk. Your walk might be different than somebody who says, I am improving after a month, a year, 2 years, 3 years, 5 years. But whatever you do, remember you owe it to yourself. Because the person who has hurt you or betrayed you or has caused you any form of rejection, remember that they're going on with their life. You can't step out of your body. So write down that I will respond and not react. When you write this down, you are commanding your brain to be rewired with this kind of thinking. Because at the end of the day, it's all about mindset. At the end of the day, it's all about how we're going to channel our minds into saying, God, I am where I am today. I want to face and confront all of these things that I have pushed in this closet that has a lot of skeletons. And I want to face them one by one so that I can, in fact, function, move from functioning to flourishing to feeling fulfilled. So Because you're going to face that, here are some of the things that I want you to consider. Give yourself grace. You've gone through a lot. And can you imagine when you look back at some of the things that you went through? You are still here, you are still standing. It means there is more strength that's within you than you have even given yourself credit for. That God carried you when you couldn't carry yourself. Like, can you give yourself a round of applause, please? So we talk about that. Then let's talk about the fact that after you give yourself grace, you want to be able, if this is something that you're in a position to do, acknowledge the things that have caused hurt, acknowledge the things that make you feel the way you do, write them down. Write them down. Because sometimes they could be so deeply buried that if you allow your mind alone to think about it, it may not come out because it has put it in the recesses of your mind. But write them down. It could become painful. You could weep. But are you facing issues today that's holding you back because of hurts and bitterness that you're carrying? And decide, what do I need to do differently? I must first focus on what I can control. Am I able to control someone else's behavior? We only think we can, but really and truly we can't. So focus on what you can, in fact, control. And that's yourself. You can control your thoughts. You can control how you respond versus how you react. You can control how you walk away from a situation that's not even worth your energy. You need to determine. Some tough decisions include, maybe that environment is toxic. Maybe that relationship is toxic. Maybe that space that you're in is toxic. Maybe you're the one that needs to shift, or you determine methods that can help you to shift. Whatever you do, absolutely nothing or no one is worth your mental health, your emotional health, your physical health, your spiritual health, your psychological health. Be better, not bitter, because these things can really gnaw at you in ways that are too much for you to handle readily on your own. So when you have written them down, you might need to be able to attach, and this goes back far. Like, you have to say to yourself, was I told while I was growing up that I wasn't good enough, and because of that I don't feel worthy? You have to go back far. Is it that when you were in school, you had a teacher that said you won't amount to anything? You believed that. And as a result, you never really felt confident enough to thrive. Could you have been in a relationship that made you believe, oh, you will never amount to anything, or you can't thrive without me, or you had suffered any form of abuse in that, and as a result, you feel rejected or dejected? Could it be that you are carrying the hurt of not just words spoken over you, but also the fact that you may have grown up within a culture that had body shaming issues? So you were made to believe if you're a certain weight, you're not good enough, or if you're a certain skin color, you're not good enough. These are things that you carry that will subconsciously erode at you if you don't confront them. And the bitterness that comes if you begin to think about these things will now face you at this stage of your life where you are not in a position to let it go unless you make a choice. So, other than choosing professional help, I want you to determine, as a big part of your exercise, What are the things that I have had in my fist, in this tight fist, that like if you had a fist that was so tightly clenched, you can't receive any blessings. You can't even let go. You can't even wave. You can't feel light. In fact, ask yourself, what are some of the things that occupy your mind before you fall asleep or when you wake up? What are some of the things that while you're on a long drive on your own that tends to resurface that you need to face? Because a part of letting go, once you have faced it, you have written it down, that's your exercise, and you have decided that you have to now say, I am worth it. Type it in, I am worth it. Because you have to believe that you're worth whatever is the best. I am worth it, right? I am the apple of God's eyes. I am fearfully and I'm wonderfully made. You need to begin with some affirmations that are going to help you to heal your hurt. And healing is, in fact, a journey. Yes, I am worth it. So, not what somebody did, not what someone said, because they can't do anything or say anything for you to feel improved. It has to come from within. I am worth it. And so if you know that you're worth it and you start walking in that, you will begin to see things shift around you. Where every day you decide that I am worth it. I will be better. I will not be bitter. Because when I command that over myself, I am saying the things that have caused me bitterness, I need to find out what they are and I need to release them one at a time. Easier said than done. But the question of the day is, would you rather erode your mind, your body, your soul, and drink slow poison to your detriment? Or would you rather remember that you are so worth it, that there's no circumstance, there's no person, there's no institution, nothing or nobody is worth getting your power to the point where anything they do triggers you in such a negative way that it can impact on your mind, your body, and your soul. So remember, if you are worth it, then you're going to start acting as if you're worth it. Now, some of the situations that you face, if you can confront it with someone who has caused you the hurt and you feel it's healthy for you to let them know this is how you feel. Sometimes we feel we want to hear somebody apologize and apologize for their behavior, apologize for what they've done. But everyone won't do that. And everyone might not be sorry. Everyone might not care. The fact that you're a caring person doesn't mean everyone else cares, right? So you may never hear, I am sorry for doing X to you. I am sorry I caused hurt to you. I am sorry that I betrayed you. You may never hear that, ever. But you must understand, because you are choosing yourself. Your self-love means I am not waiting on that apology. Instead, I need to determine what I'm going to do to choose me and be better, and not bitter. So very important. So some of the other things that you want to make sure that you do on a daily basis, I believe it is so important that you first literally have your conversation with God. Let him know how you feel. You need to write it down, the things that hurt you. I said that earlier. But what I also want you to do is to write the things down that make you feel good. Because bitterness will rob you of your joy. Bitterness will age you. You will literally appear older if you are carrying offense, if you're carrying fear, if you're carrying shame, if you're carrying control issues. It will make you older. It will make you unwell. It will make it hard to get up out of the bed in the mornings. It will make it hard for you to fall asleep at night. It can give you like brain fog where you need to get something done and you just can't do it because your energy is low. The mind is not focused because you are carrying around the toxicity that goes along with feeling the hurt, the bitterness. So, what do you need to do? Write down the things that bring you joy. Write down the things that bring you peace. Write down the things that bring you love. Write down the people that bring you love, joy, and peace. Write down the podcast that is uplifting for you. Write down the particular, let's hope Real Talk is one such good space for you to really grow. Write down the things that you know you need. Write down the songs that are good for your soul, even if it means playing the same song every day. And establish a routine that puts your mindset and your mood in a healthy state. Remember, we respond to what we tell ourselves. So each morning when you get up and if you say, I am worthy of love, I am worthy of joy, I am worthy of peace, I am special, I am blessed. Each day when you wake up and you give yourself your own power talk, you are reminding yourself that these are the things that you are worthy of. And as a result, you will not settle. Understand that when you also invite to forgive those who have caused you hurt, every relationship is not meant to be rekindled. Every relationship is not to be restored. So a part of this exercise, you will know, and God will certainly direct you, where you have to deal with people from a distance. And that could be anybody, family, friend, or foe. There's some folks that have to be at arm's length with you, or even further, no connection, because it's not healthy for you. It is eroding the greatness that is within you. So you are going to make some decisions today about how you know that a part of letting go of the bitterness to be better also means you're letting some things in. Love, joy, peace, self-control is key, because a part of that self-control means, what are the things that I deserve? So if you treat yourself right, those around you will begin to treat you right. And if they can't, do they even deserve your presence? Some people deserve your absence. Like, they need to not have you as a part of their life because they don't value you for who you are. And so a part of making sure that you are not bitter, but you're better, is ensuring that you do your own inventory check. So here are my few takeaways that I want you to be able to make a note of. I've written down some affirmations that I'm going to encourage you to consider doing and remembering. And you will say them, and you will say them daily as a part of your process of your healing. I also want you to be mindful of some books that are phenomenal that may help you on your journey. One such book is Let It Go, which is by T.D. Jakes. That's one. Another great book, which I've just gotten, and I have not finished reading it, but it's How to Do the Work. And it's to recognize your patterns, heal from your past, and create your self. So this book is another book for your consideration. And there's so many others I could have gone through my bookshelf and shared others with you. But how you command your day, the things you say to yourself, becomes really important after you have decided that today I choose to be better and not bitter. And so, if it means when you're doing this, you're going to have a good cry, yeah, that's important. Thanks for making that note. You've got to let it out. Crying is so important. Let it out. You understand that a part of being bitter and not better could also mean hurt in relation to your loved one or you getting a diagnosis and you can't understand why me. Those are things that really can get under your skin, get into your emotions. The loss of a loved one, where you really wish that, why them and not someone else? And so, on this journey for working on being better, it does not bring your loved one back. You may be going through that illness now and you have your whys. But I believe what's important is to be able to say, when I choose to be better, it means I have to work on my mind being healthier. I've got to work on my body being healthier. I've got to work on my soul being healthier. What are the things that I need to do that? So if a part of feeling a sense of peace means going outside and being still with nature late at night or early in the morning, maybe that's what you need to help you on this journey. Maybe it is that each day you write down how you are feeling and write down the improvements that you're making. This could be your assignment for November. That November is all about, what am I going to do to be better, right? You owe it to yourself to really make that a project, an assignment. Where am I hurting? Where do I need to heal? And how can I be better? Where am I hurting? Where do I need to heal? How do I need to heal? And how shall I make it better? And then a big part of your morning routine is to literally say each day to God, God, help me. When you're praying, ask God to show you areas that you have like literally dismissed the hurt. Ask Him to show you the people that you are carrying out for in your heart that you need to also let go. Ask Him to give you that guidance. Some of the affirmations that I'm encouraging you to write down and watch the replay of this. I'm the apple of God's eye. I am fearfully and I am wonderfully made. I am worthy. I'm worthy of love. I'm worthy of respect. I'm worthy of care. I am a gift to this world, and I am beautiful. And I am blessed. These are just a few of the affirmations that I would encourage you to do on a daily basis so that you can remind yourself of the gift that's within you and you are here. And don't be afraid of your story. It could be that some of your life's journey is meant to be a message for someone else. There is a message in whatever mess you may have gone through. And maybe it is for you to help someone along the way. There is purpose in your pain. Identify what it is and see how you can also help someone else. But at the end of the day, always remember this. You are made for more. Greatness is within you. That when you choose self-love and self-awareness, you will not dilute who you are for anyone else. But in fact, you will remember that you are more than worthy. And there's absolutely no one that deserves being in your space if they can't take care of the jewel that you are. Yes, you are in fact a jewel. Consider yourself a queen. And queens have to wear crowns. With all the jewels in your crown, just know that you are more than worthy. You are not to be around anywhere where you feel unwanted, you feel unloved, where you feel rejected. That's not your space. Your space is for you to identify that the gifts that you have come into this world with, the life that God has afforded you to live, it is meant to be celebrated. And whomever can manage you, can tolerate you, can manage the brightness that is within you, you don't change that. They either have to elevate themselves to your standard, but you will not devalue yourself to their standard. And so it's for you to remember today and beyond. November 1st is literally tomorrow. What do you need to do to heal your hurts? Who do you need to confront? What do you need to confront? And always remember, you are more than worthy. And it's not worth it to harbor the bitterness, the pain, and the unforgiveness. Get the help that you know you need. Ask God to guide you. And you must have within your immediate close circle those who you can confide in, those who can pray for you when you can't pray for yourself, those who you need to pray for as well. But have the support system in place that as you go through this journey to heal and go through this journey to really embrace that you are to live a life that's fulfilled, mind, body, and soul, that it's going to be a process. And maybe a part of the first week in November, you have to go into your cocoon and have this deep digging down into the areas that you want to improve. And understand that the day that you decide that nothing or no one is worth anything more than you are, you choose your self-love, you choose your awareness, and yes, you are more than worthy. Hold your head up, hold your head high, and remember, on Real Talk, the mission is to ensure that we engage one another, encourage one another, and empower one another. Because this gift of life for us means that we need to transform our lives to one of purpose, passion, and prosperity. So I trust that out of today's episode, that you have been enriched, you've been enlightened. Do not end watching this episode without taking action, because you would have spent time only listening, but listening without action would have been time wasted. The true impact is about the actions that you need to take after you're through here. Nothing brushed under the carpet, facing it head on like trailer lights, and asking God to enrich your soul with courage to do this which you are called to do, and that is to move from functioning to flourishing and to living a life that's fulfilled. Will you do that today? So, if you're ready to take action, type it in the chat. Better, not bitter. Type that in so I know that you listened, that you feel like you got a takeaway from this, that you feel that you are on a mission to understand you want to feel light like an eagle. You want to be able to soar. That if things are holding you down and holding you back, there is no way that you can get wind beneath your wings if you are being held back. Your mission ought to be moving from being bitter to being better. So now you know your mission is simple. I've got to be better and not bitter. And I never said it was easy, But what I will tell you is this: it is absolutely worth it. Better, not bitter. Absolutely worth it. Do not spend time giving your power away to people who cannot make an impact on your future. Don't waste your energy trying to convert someone. That's God's job to do. We do it all the time, right? All of us are wired that way, especially as women. We're nurturers, so we feel like we have to fix everybody. We've all learned some hard lessons. Well, I have. I don't know about you, but I have learned some very hard lessons. And you will face that on any part of your life's journey. And I'm saying, after asking for the discernment to really spot things from a mile, go back through your Rolodex of life. Think about the hurts that you've been carrying. Let them go. Let them go one at a time, and get the professional help that you need to heal your hurts and to make sure you don't go into a vicious cycle of reliving some of those hurts and those experiences. But remember, you are more than worthy. And as a queen, hold your head up high. There are jewels in your crown. And you deserve the absolute best. Nothing or no one should be a part of what you are about to do in this next phase or chapter of your life. That's not worth it. So only be where you're celebrated. We're not hanging out where we're tolerated. So on that note, for this episode of Real Talk, I am so glad that you made it. I am so glad that you joined. I'm so glad that I got to do this episode because it was a nail-biting schedule concern. And I want to thank you all for your faithfulness. And I ask you one thing: whether you are watching this live or someone who is watching it on the replay, do comment when you watch it. And most importantly, share this with someone else, because I believe that all of us would agree that we know folks who are right now struggling, not getting ahead, standing in cement, can't move on, because in fact, they do feel so much bitterness and hurt, and they're not able to get on to the next dimension of their life. And thank you so much for being ever present. I value and appreciate you so much. All of you, thank you. But I want you to remember this: you deserve the absolute best. And anything that has happened to you in your life, you're a warrior, you're a survivor, you're not a victim. And you cannot take responsibility for the actions of others when your true self, your authentic being, remained authentic and others took advantage of that. It's not for you to go back and change what has happened, but it is for you to focus on what you can do for what's ahead, your future. And it's in your hands. You're the architect of it along with God, and you both are designing a new masterpiece. And it's okay to reinvent yourself every day. I know I am looking better, feeling better, and just asking God to preserve my life, mind, body, and soul, and let go of the things. And sometimes it's daily. Every day you have to remind yourself. It's not as if somebody isn't going to tick you off. It's going to happen. Some of the same persons that you think you have released, they will trigger you again. You have to remind yourself, okay, I signed up to be better, not bitter. Be better, not bitter. So that's it for today, folks. Thank you so very much for being here. Promise to take care of your health, your mind, your body, your soul. Promise to identify the things that might be keeping you up at night or that you're unsettled about, that's really just taunting you. And you've got to face them so that you can, in fact, improve. If this episode was a blessing to you, please go ahead. You can direct message me. You know I love to get that. And I also want others to know that this is a space that they can, in fact, join and really feel empowered. Walk in your blessings. Know that God loves you. Don't depend on being validated by anything or anyone. God loves you. Hold up your head high. Wear your crown. Love yourself. Put your hand on your chest and remind yourself you are worthy. Stand in front of that mirror and say, I love every ounce of who I am, pounds and all. Love it. Embrace it. Be you and be you unapologetically. Take care. Another great episode. Be blessed. Mwah. Love you guys. And yes, forward and share to one and all. Thank you so much for joining. We did it. Be blessed.